70% of the earth is covered in water. 2% is in lakes and rivers. 5% is caught in glaciers. That means that 63% of the earth is covered in ocean. As humans, we have explored 5 to 7% of the ocean floor. We have explored less than 0.5% of the ocean itself. In the deep ocean, that percentage is even smaller. But even though human eyes have not gazed upon its contents, the ocean still rumbles. Creatures move and stir, water crashes and churns. Waves pound the shore, and the moonlight is out of the surface. Scale by scale, 100 feet by 100 feet of creature fill the night sky. Roar! It's Godzilla! Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Mothra. I was in a Blockbuster. Now, for those of you too young to remember Blockbuster, it's like a red box, but a whole store. And instead of DVDs, they have these things called VHS tapes, and they're rectangles with like film in it. Google it. Godzilla is amazing. I mean, lizards are cool, but giant space monster nuclear lizards, yeah. Now, of course, I never meant to rent any of the movies because my father had every Godzilla movie that touched cable recorded at home. But at Blockbuster, I got to look at the covers. I looked up and saw my father standing by the door reading a paperback science fiction novel. Now, my father is always reading a paperback science fiction novel at work, eating, sleeping, driving. But him standing close to the door was his sign that it was time to go. Rubble lay strewn across the streets as people ran terrified in every direction. A giant shadow blots out the sun as a pterodactyl-like creature screeches and dives at its prey. The people fade out as the camera zooms in on a pile of pterodactyl poop the size of a Honda Civic. And on top, the glasses of a now very deceased scientist. Because apparently pterodactyl stomachs do not digest glasses properly. Now, my father is the kind of guy who will wear the same style of glasses, haircut, flannel shirt, and Converse shoes for 3 decades. 3 decades. He had a similar streak with a large green recliner he sat in. Now, this green recliner is the same color as the car he purchased, the winter coat he still wears, and the suit he got married in. When my father finds something he likes, he sticks to it. Now, of course, next to the chair were boxes and piles of Legos, which is where I sat. And together we watched hours of latex cinematic brilliance. By this I mean the Godzilla material created in Japan from 1954 to 1995. There's a particular American movie made in 1998 called Godzilla, tagline, "Size does matter. It is not canon and it's dead to me." My love for Godzilla was matched by my father's enthusiasm for science fiction and all things monster. And I think that made it easier to communicate with a 10-year-old, which is hard for someone with a logical mind. Godzilla tramped and trudged through the city with no regard for human life, crushing cars and people alike. Gritty dust clogged the lungs of citizens who couldn't scream through the coughing. Tanks came around the corner and thud, thud. Godzilla was pounded with shells and rockets, and he let out another roar, not of rage, but of fear. Godzilla was misplaced. Nuclear tests drew him out of the ocean, and now he was in a foreign land, stepping across foreign territory and foreign objects, and all of a sudden he's being hit with bullets and explosions. He gained nothing. He just wanted to be somewhere safe. There's no safe haven to be found. Middle school was hard. I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people share, but for me especially, I was troubled. Not like beat the kid up next to me trouble, but like the kid next to me beat me up kind of trouble. That combined with the usual academic pressures means I didn't do so well. I hid my assignments in my closets because that's how you fix your grades. Now, my father is a structural and forensic engineer. This means his job basically has 3 parts. 1, find a building structural fault. 2, design a solution to the building structural fault. And 3, execute the solution. He's really good at it, and it always works. He did this with buildings and with his son. I had a fault, my grades. The solution, remove all distraction. The execution, remove the one thing that kept this child afloat in the ass-tastic purgatory of middle school, video games. I could feel the judgment from here. They may not have been important to you, but they were damn important to me, and it sucked. It didn't work. It didn't work, so Mothra slammed Godzilla against the mountain again. As he just fell down to ground level, Mothra came over the top and let out another painful dosage of dust in Godzilla's eyes, and he let out another roar! Not of hatred, but of pain. Red blood oozed from his bark-like skin. Godzilla was far from anywhere he could call home, and there was no sign of end to the torment. But the humans, Mothra, Godzilla, they all wanted the same thing. For Godzilla to be gone. But they had no way to communicate it. They didn't share a language. The end of middle school was tense. I did all I could. I just wanted to get into the same advanced high school my brother did. Wheeler Magnet for science and math. It was like the MIT for high schools. If I did well enough, I could go. I could be smart too. Word came at CPR training with my father and the Boy Scouts. It was a yes. I got in, my test was enough, my grades were enough. For once, I was enough. He turned to me and said one word. Congratulations, you're in. Okay, 3 words, same sentiment. In engineering terms, a pillar of support was put where the tension was, and things were stable for now. Mothra dropped a bleeding and broken Godzilla into the open ocean, and he crashed through the surface. Water surrounded the lizard, and as he descended, it grew dark and quiet. But now Godzilla was somewhere he knew, somewhere he could trust. And though Godzilla and the island were safe for now, the ocean still rumbles. Years later, my father and I still didn't talk much, but sometimes you don't have to. And when Godzilla was re-released in its original format with English subtitles in a local theater, my yes came quickly. We sat side by side and watched Godzilla let out a roar, and it registered in the same frequency for both of us. But isn't it fascinating how a creature that can tear the world asunder can bring 2 people closer together?